Boop, boop. Crank these up a little bit. I don't know if they can hear us when it does it this way, though. Because the other way,
it used to
when we click the thing and then hit go live, it would say it was muted. It would say that. But let us know if you could hear us. Haha.
What's up?
Good evening, everybody. Welcome to another exciting episode of the Students of Violence Live. We've actually got some cool stuff tonight, some videos to get into and break down. I think from the title you may be able to guess there's some stuff in some dudes that are pretty high-end special operators in the US that are actually doing some things that kind of mirror stuff that we've been talking about.
Yeah.
And stuff that their peers, I don't know if it's different time periods or whatever, but a lot of the contemporaries and people who go by US military training doctrine as the only pure and best way to do things says that some of the things that we do are completely absurd, but we have video proof that some of them are doing it too.
More or less.
Something like it. Yeah, they're making attempts, at least we'll say that. I think it's cool that we have to have a fake gun in case we want to show any firearm stuff, but you are allowed to play with blades on a live stream, I think.
Right. Blades are a lot less harmful.
Yeah, totally, right?
Yep. Blades are actually totally safe.
Yeah. And that sheath is not the most secure carry for a knife sheath that I've seen.
It's the competition rated.
Yes, zero retention, perhaps diversion meant, like it's meant for a little, like while they go to like block that and they're like, then you can
it's your shuriken.
Yep.
Well, that's the thing. Who knows? Maybe it's supposed to be like clamped on a belt.
Yeah.
Something
under a belt. Yep. Run through. Very cool.
Squeeze it.
Pretty cool custom knife. I kind of like the curve to the handle.
Yeah.
Although it does make it kind of takes away a little bit from the ambi. Like it definitely feels better in one hand than the other.
It changes, but like that's kind of a thing. One with like the antlerness.
Yeah.
But that's a thing like people do with like custom shotgun stocks.
Yeah.
So.
Oh yeah, we saw some of that at the museum with Clint Smith. Pretty interesting. They had like offset stocks on things.
Yeah. I forget what that's called, but I watched a video dude talking about the length of pole and the comb height and then whatever the third thing was. It's like the tilt.
The tilt, the rake.
Yeah.
Adam Hall asked what happened to the finger. I forgot I threw this on. I'm trying to throw it on every once in a while for a couple hours here or there. I got a finger that I smashed into a board, and the board completely stood victorious over my hand, and it has a curve that it kind of hasn't had my entire life up to that point. So just trying to get it to straighten out. This hand, it's weird though, because this pinky used to like always stay crooked. So like when I was talking with hands, like it would always look weird and bother me in videos that it like looked like my finger was weird. But somehow smashing that has made it to now where my knife hand here is good with the pinky. Like I don't have this going on like I used to. But that finger at the first joint just stays that way. So we'll see what happens if I can keep it straight every once in a while. Thank you for asking. So we should definitely mention the fact that we just did the Fight Like a Girl class.
Yeah, definitely.
And like just for the record, I was totally pumped to see there were a few ladies who traveled to come take that class from great distances. Like we had a great group of ladies who came to train, and it really hit me the difference between this one and the one at SRF. Because the one at SRF, people were there for another reason.
Yeah.
But the class was happening the day before. So it's not like they put all of that on the line, like how James used to talk about putting skin in the game to get your own training. But the ladies who showed up this past weekend, like put it all on the line. They came and traveled from great distance to better themselves and make themselves safer in every situation, every day of their life. So big kudos to you if you are watching. It was awesome to be able to train with you ladies. And again, big cojones that like most dudes don't have to come and take a class far away from home, something that they're unsure of what's exactly going to be covered and things of that nature. So those ladies showed a lot by showing up. Hello, sir.
Hello, sirs.
Just
Sorry, I'm fashionable late.
Yeah. We were just recapping the weekend, talking about how, when people do put some skin in the game and travel, it really changes the way that they're receptive to the content of the class.
Yeah, with definitely with the ladies that came, it was interesting to see how would I say, how reluctant at first they were, to do things, and even throughout the first day, like, oh my God, are you okay? Yeah, and on the second day, then watching them, playing the fucking facial Lego game and smiling and almost grinning with pleasure. You're like, all right, that is cool. But yeah, the seriousness with which they approach it was, I don't know what would be the word, inspiring, not inspiring, but it was good. It was good to see.
Yeah. And then, part of what Lewis was saying, but, especially for the husband and father, it takes balls to be like, hey, Sonny, can you teach my wife how to kill me with her bare hands?
Yeah, so, Mr. Harrigan, if you're watching, I mean, I'm sorry, but I'm not sorry, if both your wife and your daughter will, utilize you for training and further evolution of skills that they acquired and things they understood. But yeah, I appreciate you, putting your trust in me and sending your loved ones to do that thing. So it's pretty cool.
Yeah, I think that's true. The people who show up for training events like that are a different breed, for sure. And they definitely didn't know it when we met at the coffee shop. No. I don't think it registers to them the step that they've already taken.
Well, I mean, shit, dudes. Okay, so let me ask you, right? First time you came to train with me, how much did it register? Of what it was going to be?
Yeah. I mean,
if you can remember, I know for you it was like 5-6 years ago. Yeah, whatever. For Josh, it was longer than that, right?
Yeah, mine was unique because I didn't really have an option.
Yeah,
right?
true.
James is like,
You
hey,
will.
Sonny's doing a shovel class. Be here at this time. And I'm like, what? Like,
What? A
yeah.
fucking landscaping
Yeah.
class?
And of course, like I tried to start asking questions, but he was already done with the conversation. So I
Yeah,
got,
when Jaeger says something like that, there's nothing to converse there about.
Yeah.
I mean, decision has been made, it's stamped, it's sealed,
Yeah.
it's done, you go. Yeah.
So he could have spent 10 minutes explaining to me.
He doesn't have 10 minutes.
That he couldn't explain exactly what would be covered, but he just
The thing
said,
about it is that James himself has never seen my shovel class.
Mhm.
You know what I mean? But he was just like, yeah. Anyway,
yeah, you're gonna be there.
no, but yeah, especially with the ladies coming to the class like that, yeah, I'm sure they, although both, and William and Gary, obviously they were telling their spouses about it, but like William's wife was saying, she goes like, hearing from him and then it has a different thing, and it's not because I say it better. It's just like we discussed in the class, like I was telling you about, like Nick, right? So he lives with me, he hears that shit daily, and then you take him aside for 30 minutes and the kid comes back to the shooting lane, and scores like in the middle of the pack, actually towards the higher end of the pack during the 2-5 drill with AK. And he's like, oh yeah, Mr. Lewis taught me that. I'm like, yeah, I told you that. I'm not fucking, yeah. But that's how it works with families, because like your dad, your mom, your wife, your husband, whatever, it's a noise.
Yeah,
we're so used to that voice. We're so used to that because we always talk, always interact. And discernment of which parts are like crucially important, where you kind of have to go like, okay, whatever is domestic concerns that I may have now has to be put aside, and we don't have that. Like we joked
even
about
before they got in the car.
Yeah.
Before they got in the car, he could, because how many husbands try and get wives to train?
A lot.
Right? How many husbands say it's important for you, or would try and get them to go to something even closer to the house, and are just met with a stone wall.
Yeah.
So by being open-minded enough,
Yeah.
and having the guts
we
get
cannot
in that car and drive here is huge on their part.
Yeah,
And
we cannot take away, like their part in making that decision, because no husband can really force a wife or whatnot to go. So there was a significant part on those ladies, their participatory effort to go like, well, okay, this douchebag that I'm married to has been, nagging, but still to make the decision not to go like, whatever, dude, I'm not interested. And that would be the end of it, right?
Mhm.
To still kind of go like, we're going.
Mhm.
And especially two ladies from Iowa, right? To take on 14-hour drive one way.
Yeah, they had 14 hours to turn around and be like, we got a flat tire. I guess we don't got to go.
Yeah. Or
So-
all kinds of women excuses could have popped up to not show up, but
here they were.
But there they were. Yeah.
Yeah, it was cool. It was cool. It was also cool for me, like, to watch dudes doing girl fight thing, and like Nick, because he has a couple of friends who are involved in boxing and all that, and he goes like, if I step outside of the parameters of boxing, it's not going to play out well.
Yeah.
All I have to do is to get close enough.
Yeah. And some of the stuff, like seeing the additional targets in the continued movement, is something that like I'm like just starting to taste or to be able to see. And then seeing, okay, it's not just after, if the hand's here, it's not just a strike that can come this way or a strike that can come this way. It's a whole bunch of stuff that can
I should have sent you the video. There is this, some people consider him the greatest guitar player that has ever lived. And he's a young kid from Spain. And he plays like, Hispanic, so to speak, guitar, acoustic guitar. And it's amazing because with this hand he starts doing, he goes like, there's three parts to music. There's a rhythm, there's a melody, and there's a harmony, right? I was like, so here's a rhythm. And with this hand, on the string, he just goes. And then with this hand, he goes like, okay, so now we're going to add the harmony. And he starts like drumming, with his palm. Like, adding. He goes like, but you know what? My fingers are still free. So he goes, I can use two fingers to add a little bit of melody. But it's a drum melody. So now he's doing this with the heel of palm and the other two fingers adding something else. He was like, but now I still have three fingers free. So now they can add like a voice. And he starts playing that. And then he switches hands. And you know what I mean?
Yeah.
And you're watching that kind of stuff and you go like, talk about 100% usage of your resources. But, he does it in such a playful and free and relaxed manner that I look at it, I go like, this is to me very close to fighting. Like I'm watching Danny Carey play drums. I told you guys numerous times. To me, it's like a mastery. He's hitting stuff.
Yeah.
I mean, he's hitting stuff with the polyrhythms, with the broken down cadence and all that I go like, dude, this is fighting. This is fighting, and it's beautiful to watch because it's a completely different arena, but you kind of go like principles are the same. You look at that guy play guitar, you look at Danny Carey play drums, you see the posture, you see the shoulders down, you see relaxed movement, you see, attentiveness to detail, the freaking precision of everything, and you're like, this is cool, man. This is really, really cool. So, yeah, I'm glad I did this class. It's not my favorite class to do because, well, you guys noticed, the pace was slower, intensity was a little bit lower, and for a specific reason, obviously, but we also noticed some emotional responses, especially from the ladies.
Yeah.
When you start talking about the darker side within violence and all that, most people don't.
The lecture portions alone on the lady side of things, or I guess my perception of the lady side of things, and from their feedback was extremely, like, that alone makes it better than any self-defense class that they would get somewhere with like bullshit scenarios and nonsense and Krav Maga responses, so the lecture portions and them having their eyes open to that side of potentialities, I think was pretty awesome.
Yeah, I'm fairly pleased with the way the class went and what I saw, what I observed. So, but that's from my vantage point. As far as dudes will have one way they look at it, the ones that took part in the class, and then ladies obviously will have their own. Their own outlook. And if and when we hear about it, we'll know.
Mm-hmm.
So, well, Gary already messaged me and all that, and his wife wants, I guess they thinking about signing up for the Shooter Fighter Matrix in October. So
very cool.
That's going to be cool.
Let's see, what else do we
There's some long comments out there.
So first, I guess he's going for, what is your shirt?
Oh, Adam, what's the shirt says? It says in Russian, it says,
I stand with Israel.
Absolutely not. I do not stand with Israel.
It's in quotes.
If you want to ask that question, be ready to hear the damn answer, because I do not stand with Israel. It says, it's a Russian. It says pizdets, and there is no direct translation what it means. The best I can explain is in a way it's even better than how many applications the word fuck has in English, right?
Oh, dang.
You look at someone being murdered and you go, fuck, right? You look at the beautiful, expensive car, you go, fuck. Right?
Yeah. Most
amazing lady, fuck, right? Amazing performance in sports or whatnot, fuck, right? So pizdets is kind of like that.
Okay.
You can look at someone and go like, pizdets, I mean, he's done, Or you look at the hot chick, you go, no, pizdets. It's like, wow. You know what I mean? So it's very, very universal, dirty word that applies on the full spectrum from the most fucked up to the most positive.
Okay.
Yeah.
Very cool. Although I don't even see a P there.
That's P.
Okay.
So that's P, E, which you guys call it I. This is Z, D, E, and this is T, which is would be like TS. I know. At least it's not Arabic, all right?
Carly, my excuse before not taking at SRF was I need to lose weight first. Again, if I lost more weight, I'll do the class next time. After situation that happened recently was a reminder that situations don't wait for me to lose weight. I need to know how to do what I can in the condition I'm currently. So I definitely have training in my budget 100% this year. Yes, you got to come down and see us. Do it. Like,
And what you're saying about, when people set themselves some kind of conditions, okay, let me be blunt what they are. When I lose more weight, when I get in better shape, when I get better at shooting, when I can do 50 push-ups, these are not metrics or guidelines of performance that you set yourself for when you think you will be ready. Already? It's a fucking excuse. It's an excuse. And maybe it sounds harsh, but we all do that. And the interesting thing is, the smarter, the more intelligent people are, the more elaborate their excuses are. And then also they convince themselves that their excuse is equivalent of logic or common sense. You know what I mean? And it's really, in a way, it's the darkest form of self-deception and lying to yourself. And it's we all do that, but I think most people are not aware they do that, because excuse is always based on these very logical, you know what I mean? This is the occurrence, or this is the metric, or this is the fact of life, or event is happening or whatnot. At the end of the day, it's fucking excuse. Like me still smoking. I can give so many logical things. Every single one of them is a fucking excuse.
Yeah.
And that's just what it is.
I actually wrote that down this weekend. Excuse is the worst type of lie because it pretends to be logic.
Yeah, we talked about it during the class, and it's actually like very, very simplified thing from the chapter 9 of the book. I kind of sat down and I did a couple of days of brainstorming about the very meaning of what excuse is and how we use it, and how it becomes the most elaborate form of self-sabotage. And so, young lady, don't think about, you were that kind of weight, now you are less weight. Well, if I lose another 40 pounds, then I'm ready. No.
You're never going to be.
You're never going to be
ready.
Ideal to what you could be.
Right.
You know what I mean? You're not going to reach that top to where you go like, that's it. Now I'm a tip-top shape. Now I'm 100% ready for anything. Then you don't need training. Then you don't need anything. You know what I mean? Well, you reached your pinnacle.
This class specifically is a class that
strength and speed are not
exactly. So it's the entire concept's turned on its head. Any of these, like some of it, there's like the literal limitation, but someone could be in this class in a wheelchair.
Yeah,
the principle is exactly the same.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah,
absolutely.
They could be, very, very small, because a couple of the ladies were, well, all the ladies were small,
smaller than anyone in the class.
Then,
including Nick.
There could be people even bigger than me, because I was the biggest in the class, and like you could be 400 pounds and fucking do this.
Doesn't matter.
Yeah.
If anything, this is what you would use in the meantime, and to be like, to protect yourself.
No, and you'll hear from me that, you could stand and lose weight because you'll have better range of movement, you'll not get as tired as quickly, and this and that, but that does not exclude you from learning that, becoming better, and maybe getting not just motivation, but truly a reason to change certain things about the way you live.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I mean? So this is one of I can't
change your goals too.
I can't stress it enough how often in our lives, all of our lives, later will become too late. You know,
Mm.
and within the frames of violence, that can be truly the final too late. You know, and it's fucking sad. And it's fucking sad. So yeah, guys or girls, don't give yourself that bullshit excuse, that pretending that you have some kind of legit reason. Now listen, if your son, your spouse, or whatnot is in an operating room, no one is talking about that. You know what I mean? But short of some kind of like family emergencies or you having some kind of a health issue, and I get it. There are financial hardships. We all live normal lives. I get it. But if there is if it's truly something your goal, you'll find a way. And if you make excuses, then it's not truly your goal. And it's harsh, but truth usually is not very polished.
Yeah. And I don't know how many times I heard that from dudes.
Oh yeah.
For like, especially the contractor classes we did at Tactical Response. Like, well, I'm not,
next year.
Yeah, I'm not in the shape I'd like to be for that class. And I'd tell people, like, do you think there's people that come through that class because people are on all ends of the spectrum. We've got Thurman with a busted knee. And
who is 80 pounds overweight,
right? And
old.
However old he is, and you've got John Kruger who's 70, and you've got someone like Tanner who I'm going to the tactical games with, who's
stud,
super stud, like can run the Echo bike, do this. Yeah. Guess what? At the end of each day, every one of them was 100% spent. Yeah. So you're not getting on their own level. You're not getting through it where you're like, oh, good thing I was in this good of shape.
That was easy.
No, I mean, think about it like people that come to Fear Inoculum, right?
Mm-hmm.
You have some kind of guy that looks like a hippie who's a filmmaker, who, you know what I mean? Mm-hmm. And then you have studs, Mm-hmm. Any of them at the end, they go like, that was easy.
Yeah. No. So yeah, you come as you are. And when you leave, you'll have you may have different goals than what you thought. So you could spend 2 years getting into shape for
what it's going to be?
What you think is shape.
It's actually the worst thing you can do, because that's going to be 2 more years of you justifying your own excuses. You're going to become so corrupt with self-deception and lies that you're probably never going to do it. Actually, the earlier when you catch yourself that I need to do something to change it, fucking jump into it. Jump into it. To change that corruptive pathway, that corruptive tendency of, using the logic to create excuses and then to keep yourself from actually progressing and evolving. Yeah. Don't do that. It's self-sabotage with capital letters.
I spent 3 years in a fitness journey for all the wrong reasons, headed in wrong directions, from losing range of motion, gaining 80 pounds just to be stronger.
Yeah.
To then, being ridiculously lean, but still poor range of motion, bad mobility. Like everything was wrong in terms of what I was aiming for. And I didn't get to learn that until I learned more what I was going to want out of my body.
Like we talked in numerous classes, there's knowledge, there's understanding, there's a participatory experience or expert, touch it, right? And in this field, in this realm, touching is where it's at. That's where your knowledge gets substantiated. That's where your understanding gets tested and stretched, and then experience itself. And the whole thing of I need to wait until I'm ready, it doesn't give you neither knowledge, nor understanding, nor experience. But it injects you with fucking excuse.
Mhm.
And that becomes your personality.
Yeah. Like, how about this? Evan taught, dude took both of his radio
I
classes this
read
week,
that. That was amazing. That was amazing.
but the guy was blind.
Yeah, he was blind. Yeah, Evan made a post about
Right.
it, and I was like, damn, that's cool, man.
Yep.
That is
Yes.
really cool.
And yes, it does feel like that when you see somebody like that taking training, or
Yeah, I had
people
guys
in
without fingers
wheelchairs.
coming to gun classes, right? I had a Marine, who had his legs blown off in Iraq in the wheelchair taking my classes. You know what I mean? Hand to hand classes. And what was funny about that one gentleman was that, everyone is like, because he was a marathon runner before and all that, and now he's without legs in the wheelchair. Most people, they kind of try to be, which I understand, there's empathy and all that, and they would be like, oh man, and so he's in my class, and we're doing some stuff, and I'm like, fucking move. And he's in a wheelchair. He goes like, well, it's kind of difficult for me to punch him because I have to roll my wheels with my hands. And I'm like, do it with your dick, move.
Yeah, figure it out.
And he was laughing, and he's like, at the end we were talking, one-on-one, and he's like, I really appreciate the ball busting, man. He goes, because I don't get in that. And he goes, I love it. He goes, but because of my condition, not having legs, everyone feels like they cannot bust my balls about it. He goes, like, you just fucking threw it in my face. Move, motherfucker,
That's especially in the realm of self-defense. Like, you being hard on him in that way is probably the lightest he's ever going to get it, because someone else is going to look to take advantage of that. That's the same with these ladies.
Yeah, absolutely.
They're going to pick you because they think that they can win. Like, if I had to choose, do I get to fight the marathon runner Marine or the dude in the wheelchair? If I'm going to try and rob a dude, I'm going to pick the dude in the wheelchair.
Hell yeah.
And then if that dude just happens to know how to do the secret ninja shit, then
well, wrong choice.
Yeah, sorry about
should have found the marathon.
Yeah.
Let's see. Carly, she was attacked by a 6'2", 300-pound man 2 weeks ago. And all that went through your head was to de-escalate because you knew you couldn't take him down.
And the thing about it is that you could easily take him down. Yes, de-escalation avoidance is still your first choice, and it always should be. But 6'2", 300, not a biggie.
And hopefully that worked out well, de-escalation. That should be, it shouldn't be like, I could have de-escalated it, but I learned all this stuff to kick his ass. So I just kicked his ass.
So I chose to do the facial Lego, yeah.
So good on you if the de-escalation worked.
I hope everything went not bad.
Yes.
But regardless, what it went, it probably, well, in your comment, apparently it's it means that it left an imprint on you, that you see the necessity for such. So
if you guys have any other questions on class or what was covered on that, feel free to drop them in. I think maybe if you're ready, we'll switch to some videos we've got ready to go for this week.
Yes.
Some breakdowns. Let's see.
I barely made it here 10 minutes late because I had to go to Henderson to pick up all my orders, and then Nick I was so busy I forgot to eat breakfast this morning, so then I had to have food because I was so fucking hungry.
Yeah.
And then Nick made, the rice with the salmon and microgreens and all that stuff. So I'm like, I couldn't just leave it on the table.
He's chef and decent gardener.
I
saw him out there.
Yeah. I don't know about gardener. He was doing landscaping, so yeah. I heard the dogs bark, and I went out to see if there's someone at the gate. But Nick later told me that I guess you guys pulled up, or you were just turning around. I don't know.
So the transitions I've been doing have been from a single point sling. That's just what I'm running right now. I do want to show you how it would look and how it would work with a 2-point sling or whatever else you're using, that it's not just a single point.
Yeah.
Oh.
That
Like I
actually
said before in the
disappears.
gear, this is why you need to have an adjustable sling. Okay, so if this thing is tightened all the way up and I'm trying to do a transition, I'm not going to have enough room. Okay, so it needs to be an adjustable sling. This thing's set up pretty much, this is how I'd be running it anyhow, so it's fully extended. If you guys are running them tight like this, when you go to transition, you actually have to give yourself some slack. So nothing changes. I'll go over it slow. The only thing that's different is my hand's going to have to come around my sling to give me slack. So it'll look like this. All my hand positions are same. How I'm bringing the gun around is same. I'm just bringing my arm underneath the sling. Should be up like this. You go on safe first thing. Grab here. Difference here is now I'm coming around my sling, giving myself that slack, bringing the buttstock over to my left shoulder at the same time, reaching for that pistol grip. From there, back on target. Now I have a bunch of slack. The sling's fine, so if I transition back over to the right, nothing changes from there. Now, if I was done doing what I needed to do, put the sling back on proper, and ready to go. So that's the only difference, is now you have to give yourself that slack if you're using a 2-point sling.
Yeah, it's almost like you could kind of get out of that sling a little earlier.
Okay, well, first of all, let's start with the good before we go
Yeah.
to the bad, and then we go to the ugly.
And Josh, I sent you the second one from him. If you could do the same thing, send it
It should be in there.
that way.
There was 2 from him.
Yeah, so first of all, this gentleman, I forgot his name, but he's
So Bob Keller.
Bob Keller. So I think he retired in like 2010, 2011. I guess he was a sergeant major in CAG, in Delta Force. You know, and you can see he doesn't look to be a small fella. Looks pretty confident. Certainly looks in good physical shape and
So
condition.
just to show you,
You know, so that is a good thing. So what do you guys think are other good things from what you
so
saw?
the transitions.
Well, he's actually doing a full rifle transition.
Yeah, so he actually
So-
seems to believe that transition is not a matter
Yeah.
of trend.
Yeah. And he's not doing it halfway either.
Okay, so he's not doing
Partial.
the trans transition.
Yeah.
He's doing like a straight.
He's going
Straight person
He's going
transition.
full operation
Okay, cool.
transition.
So, I mean, kudos.
Yeah.
The dude sees that transition is a legit thing, and we had a couple of little conversations with here and there and things that we read, and performance shooters going, it's bullshit, you know, this is a shooting problem, not a tactics problem. Just pop yourself out there and be quick and be deadly and accurate and all
That
that.
guy was Delta too.
Yeah, what's interesting, they both CAG, and actually this guy is more recent CAG than the
Hmm.
other dude, right? So some of you performance shooters, if you're going to be watching there, you know, when you go like, well, we have an actual CAG guy saying, and you're not listening. And we can say, well, there's another CAG guy saying the opposite of what that CAG guy is saying.
Yeah.
So
So
what's up?
So if those dudes after are doing this, and I know dudes well prior
Yes.
were doing it,
Yes.
and very strong advocates for ambidexterity.
Well, I was there in person. I know they've been doing it.
Yeah.
Oh, and then, you know, Super Dave teaching him, like, that dude wouldn't have let some of this slide. Like, oh, I don't need to transition. I'll just pop out, cover the other way.
All right. So the big positives, right?
Yeah.
The guy is definitely fit. The guy is on
Yep.
the message that transitions are the thing. Actually, in the second video that we may take a look at it later, he explains why, and it's a very legit explanation. Really, there's nothing there to add. Dude is on point. I I would say that it can be expanded into more detail, but I digress.
And slight technique
Yeah.
issues that could be
Well,
critiqued.
that's what we're gonna get to bad and ugly.
Yeah.
I do like especially between the two videos, 'cause it's from the same
Yeah.
training DVD. He's basically saying this is what you should be doing, and it's not hard. So it's not, because we've watched a couple other dudes. They're like, we don't.
You
teach
shouldn't be
this
doing that because it's hard.
because it's too hard to teach in this class. Like what?
Yeah.
But hitting the target with 0-18 split is not hard. But it's okay to teach that.
Yeah.
Mm.
Yeah.
Got it. Got it.
Yeah. So we want to watch part 2 of that one?
Sure, let's watch part 2. That
Before
way
we go.
we make a point about why the transitions are what he says is a necessity.
So just to show you the reason why you want to get proficient at transitioning and shooting left-handed is if you're ever in a situation where this is simulating a complete wall, by the way, there wouldn't be an opening here. Or this could be a big tree, or it could be a big pillar. You're shooting from the right side, right-handed. Like this. I'm pretty much just my weapon and my head are exposed. Well, what if I have to go over to the other side of the pillar? If I come over and I am not comfortable shooting left-handed and I don't know how to transition, I'm going to shoot right-handed. What's going to happen if I have to shoot right-handed now? In order to hit that target, I got to come expose this much of my body. All right, so wrong answer. You got to know how to shoot left-handed. You got to know how to transition. So if I'm back here and I transition, now when I pop out, it's just my head and my gun. Makes sense, right? The other way, stupid. Popping out, exposing a whole ton of your body is dumb. And it happens because people aren't confident shooting left-handed or doing their transitions. So go out to the range. First of all, learn how to shoot left-handed, and then really practice on your transitions. It'll be, after a couple hundred times, it just becomes natural. You won't have to think about where your hands go. It just happens. And that's what you want.
I mean, I'm not going to hide it. It's refreshing.
Yeah.
It truly is refreshing to hear the guy, with his background and what is his pedigree and all that, to say in fairly plain language that exposing that much of yourself to press the trigger and send one downrange is fucking stupid.
Yeah.
But
It's kind of like, one of those,
Yeah.
right?
I think, was it 2 weeks ago when we talked with Paul Markle?
Yeah.
And we showed the one video of the use of cover where the guy was like 130% exposed and already 2 steps.
Yeah, you could see him and his wife, although his wife was at home, but you could see both of them.
Yeah.
And I mean, like you put these 2 videos together, and of course we will nitpick. I mean, we assholes. Mm-hmm. This is what we do. We students, right? And I'll have things to say, and I know some folks out there that go like, "Who are you to critique a CAG sergeant major?" I'm just a dick. But like overall message and reasoning, it's pretty damn plain, pretty straightforward, and no bullshit. It's not colored. It's not dressed up. It's not dramatized. It's pretty straightforward.
Yep.
So, all right. Well, gentlemen, so I'm going to ask you now about the bad before we get to the ugly. What is bad?
All right. So I guess I'll preface this with I'm not CAG.
Right.
But I know that in fighting rifle classes, we would point this out to somebody.
Yeah.
Because it doesn't need to be out there when it could be sucked in along the lat and not exposed. So that would be one thing that would stand out to me in terms of use of cover that I would critique. And I know when you're not an actor and you're trying to do instructional stuff, and you can tell the cameraman didn't really do him many favors with the angle or where they were set up from a singular position around during the shoot. So
well, again,
give some grace for that.
Panio Productions, I did a video with them that's obviously it's no longer in circulation, so I know that their camera dudes are, they shooters, but they're certainly not tacticians.
Right.
So they know how to film the guy pressing the trigger and to make the gun look sexy and the target focus and all that stuff. But when it comes to positional, situational movement things, they're not in tune with that.
Right.
So you're correct. As far as a little chicken winging with your elbow, some people will say it's not a big deal. When something at 1,300 feet per second connects with that, it becomes somewhat of a deal.
Yeah.
Somewhat of a deal.
If that's the biggest part of the thing sticking past the cover. Someone's going to sling a rifle round into it, or
I don't know. The endless discussion. They're going to go like, not a big deal. That's just his support hand, and you go.
The one that's now holding the rifle.
Oh wait, so then he cannot switch because then it would have to be. But
it's
I digress.
No, I mean it's fire control hand both times when he does it left and right.
Oh, that's right. It is.
Yeah. So, I mean, either way, again, just kind of to be nitpicky or things that are noticed as an instructor. If I were to see it from that angle, I would address it or bring it up. But again, it could be they told him point the camera at, or point the gun at the microphone and the camera is over here. So now he's going to overexpose
angulation
right?
wise, I still see that being. But again, nothing is and no one is perfect.
Mm-hmm.
At least not as perfect as me.
What does John Farnham say? The people who think they're perfect make life really annoying for those of us who are.
Yes. What else? What else is bad?
I think between the two of them, some of the sling work is kind of dumb. So he prefers to work from the single point sling, and then that takes place off camera from the two shorts that we have. But then there's kind of like the weird, like, oh, I'm going to start doing the thing. I get out of the sling halfway and then do the transition. And like, I think if you're going to take the time to do that, you could have already just slipped the whole thing off.
Yeah. And this is what I'm trying to lead to. To me, it's like this, if we're going to talk about having to manipulate weapon with switching, with moving around because of dynamics that's happening downrange, or you have multiple entry points that are going to have right-handed tell, left-handed tell, possibly, off T intersection or cross intersection or whatever, right? Having to deal with the sling to come around and in to switch, to me, and this is going back to, let's say, like almost the mindset of performance shooters, right? It's just that it's not time how quickly I press the trigger, how soon am I ready to press the trigger.
Mm-hmm.
Because that introduces the unnecessary difficulty in my work to get to the trigger with the positional change of the rifle to my other side. And again, I know all kinds of, arguments that keep brought up, like, so what? You're going to have sling just hanging when it catches up on the doorknob or the door handle and all that. And again, we can sit there, and stroke this dick or that dick and go like, what is more important? Potentially the sling catching on to the doorknob, or me taking an extra half second before I can put the shot. Why is it am I switching shoulders? Something pretty fucking radically has changed.
Mm-hmm.
And that acquires my attention. I'm switching shoulders so I can make a shot, right? That to me puts certain amount of urgency into what needs to be done.
Mm-hmm.
So to have an extra obstruction in order for me to get there, to press that trigger, it seems unnecessary.
If you put it on a timer at a USPSA match, they would start with the gun out of the sling because it's going to take too much time.
Yep.
They'd be like, oh, well, if I don't have to do that, then I won't. Because he even said, well, if you run it tight, then you're going to have to make room. And if
Yeah.
you run it loose, then you start the swim. So if you have to start the swim, turn over, and then after you transition, get the sight picture and do that, it's going to take too much time.
I told you guys my views on that, and I want to make a distinction, right? So I believe that most of these guys, when they do videos, former CAGs, former DevGuru guys, SA, whatever, the tier one dudes, right? I believe consciously, subconsciously, pride, whatever it is, the need to sling your weight, they bring in the military law enforcement spec ops tier one doctrine, and it's being distributed indiscriminately to both audiences that are coming from that background or still are actively in that profession and civilians. There is a distinction.
Yep.
Yeah. Well, that's the same with this dude, at least as an example away from the traditional, but that's the same with the competition guy that comes and they say, oh, well, they hire Ben Stoker to come teach them this. Yeah. And then this dude is obviously mature enough to be like, yeah, that's fucking stupid.
Well, apparently he made E9 and Delta.
Yeah. Yeah. So like this guy gets Ben Stoker to come to him and he takes this piece away from Ben Stoker.
I would have Ben Stoker to come here.
Yeah, of course.
I would absolutely eat up his trigger work, his all that, what I mean?
But
absolutely.
There's other people who say Ben Stoker makes this dude everything he is.
Bullshit.
And that's why that guy has Ben Stoker.
No, bullshit. Ben Stoker. You know what Ben Stoker is?
Spec Ops dudes are taking these minute details and they're getting a tiny bit of polish on something from those competition shooters. But then people who are like teetering the line between performance shooting and tactical small arms usage in like fighting context are saying, well, since the best gunfighters in the world learn from Stoker, then we need everything from Stoker.
You know what?
It's like saying these guys out of it.
It's like saying that fucking paprika is the only thing that matters when you do a fucking roast.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I mean? It's
like, hey, bro, your meat's
it doesn't
rotten.
matter what your meat is, the temperature, the smoker, how you do it, what else you add, which salt, which brown sugar, which sauces, which kind of meat you're using, right? Fuck it doesn't matter. Paprika. Baby, everything is paprika. You know what I mean? And so to me, how you press the trigger and you become very fast with it and the way you grip your gun and everything, I'm sure Ben can teach some amazing shit and I would eat it up.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I mean? But does that make what Sonny Puzikas is? I don't think so.
Right.
I don't think so.
Right.
I would love to take his fucking class. And I absolutely would. But he probably wouldn't let me.
Yeah. But he might. He might do it. He might do it intentionally to start shit and be like, "Hey,
look how slow it is." Actually, I would be intentionally slow because I would really try to get the stuff that he's getting. Yeah, absolutely. But anyway, what else? What else is bad?
Another institutional thing, and I say that because like I hear it seems to be a split camp with Delta Ninjas. Mm-hmm. Some of them are like every time safety comes on. And then other ones are like, oh, well, if I need to flip the rifle over to this side or I need to do a magazine change or I need to do this.
I'll go wider than that. I would say that's the stamp of American gun culture.
Some of the Americans don't do that, though.
Well, no, you guys betrayed America. You guys don't do that. You betrayed America. You actually are Russian stooges and shit like that. But yeah, overall, I know there are some.
They justify certain reasons.
Yes.
But absolute majority, 99%, I would say, certainly of the big names out there, recognizable names and all that. And that includes good guys, people like Travis Haley and all the CAG guys from Pat Mack to, all of them. Over the decades, I'm not talking just recently or whatnot, they pretty much have, James Yeager. When the stock leaves the shoulder, engage the safety.
with an AR.
Mm.
He let us keep it off with the AK.
So wait, is this like bowing down to the AR's superior ergonomics,
Maybe.
or is that like paying alms to the AR's? What is it? So if it's about safety,
Yeah.
that should not be determined by which gun it is. Or is a K trigger is 68 pounds, that way nothing can depress it other than fucking hammer pull.
Yeah, it was mostly because it's hard to reload an AK with the safety on. Yeah. So yeah, poor Russian design, I guess. Chalk it up to that.
Yeah.
I see inconsistency, but that's fine.
Yeah.
We'll leave it out.
Yeah.
And what else? What else is bad?
So I don't like root cause. Go back on the sling thing for a minute. I don't understand this obsession with the tight sling. Like, maybe it's because Jay Gibson, very early in my training path, was like, you only need the sling tight to you if we're like humping somewhere, or you got to climb a ladder, or you're about to carry
Do the medical.
You're about to carry a litter. Like, these are the reasons why you want that gun sucked tight to you. Other than that,
sling is off.
Well, he would say loose and around the neck.
Okay.
So there was no reason to have your arm in it. And if you did have your arm in it, it should be in no way snug when you shoulder the rifle. And then we do reloads gun up. So if it gets tighter as you try and bring buttstock down into like armpit to have good control of the rifle, that if that snugs up your sling around your lat and puts something like this right where your mag well is, then it's only in your way. And I've only ever seen slings hurt people's gun handling ability, their ability to address malfunctions, their ability to reload the gun.
That's blasphemous of you to say that.
I've never seen a sling aid in someone's shooting performance.
Why do you think? Why do you think slings and the tightness of the slings and all that is such a big deal by the guys of arguably one of the best units in this country?
I don't know.
Maybe
they got
it. What do you think?
It was contagious from the SAS pushing the MP5s out on the tight sling.
So it's habitual.
Contagious.
I wonder if it's a habit, but I think part of it's like it's the administrative use. Because for the most part, even I forget which one we talked about it, but for shotguns, like, why has it got a sling on it? Like, if I'm going to be using it in, if I've got 5 rounds in the gun, what are the odds I'm going to even need a sling on it? Probably not. But if you're in a shotgun class, or if you're a dude that walks around the base all the time, or you're going to the DFAC, well, you better have your rifle because you're the fucking ninja. Well, I better sling that super tight and then just have that all the time. I think it's an administrative use of, you have this, like, okay, well, I've got the gun in the holster. So, the dudes that wrap the thing over the top of it or start doing weird stuff or changing shit on their magazines, I think it's partially a habit and then partially an administrative thing.
Or, scout rifle. Like, you use a Galco Ching sling, and you're talking about a scout rifle making a 200, 300-yard shot with a scoped rifle. There are ways to put pressure into the sling to support the weight of the gun.
Yeah, well, here we're definitely talking close quarters environment.
But that helps you to run a bolt on a bolt gun while keeping the gun on target.
Yeah.
I think if you see that or hear that and you go, pressure on sling, help shoot better. And then you just bring that over to your AR with no thought.
Within 10-yard distance engagements, right?
Right. You're in a house. I don't see how it.
You know what I think the disease is? And we talked about it numerous times. I think the dudes that get out of the tier 1 teams, they cannot get the team out of their heads. When you're working within the team, you number 2, number 3 guy in the stack or whatnot, you have your sling on and all that. It's already established that we kick in the door, this guy goes right, this guy goes left, and all that. You also have the luxury of time, if needed, to transition within the sling to prepare for the next doorway. What kind of team we as civilians will have? Who's going to cover your fuck-ups when you're taking extra 1 second to snake your hand in there? Who's going to put the hand on the trigger? I have 6 extra fucking ninjas with their shit on the bang switch. I mean, if I'm too slow snaking that hand in to keep my rifle slung up, they'll send the hate. Who's sending the hate for me?
Yeah, very true.
No one is sending the hate for me. And I think I've seen it now over a couple of decades that good dudes, experienced dudes, combat vets, have kicked ass, have taken names, forgotten more than they've taken. They cannot get the team out of their head. And I think this is, and I'm pretty sure they don't do it intentionally, but this is very dangerous because you can see that in the civilian market, a lot of dudes, because they worship the war heroes, the freedom protectors, the CAG, the tier 1 super ninja killers. Anything they say, even if they fart out of their ass and it's a wet fart, they worship.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, and then it becomes dogma that you go like, well, who the fuck are you? You retired, 30 some years ago. Who are you to tell us what this fresh, relatively fresh out of the active service CAC E9, what he does? I went through great pains to get the team out of my head.
Yeah.
I'm not going to have a team. And this is one of the reasons, and I told you, this is one of the reasons I do not teach at least open enrollment team tactics classes. I don't, because I think it becomes a virus for this in the civilian market. It looks militant. It looks like in the movies. It looks hot. I can use my $140 sling. I can tighten it up, loosen it up, and it sounds almost as good as jacking off. You know what I mean? After someone spits on your cock, it's. I think the virus is the team.
Mm. Okay, so
institutionalist
effects of the
team,
institution,
yes.
and the job requirements.
Yes.
So I was talking this morning with Paul Markle, and we were discussing the Fight Like a Girl and a little bit about the pepper spray portion. Mm-hmm. And I was explaining, I think it should be more prevalent in the stuff that we do. And
100%. After like Fear Inoculum, when Josh did his portion, which was way too long, and Lewis would agree, of course.
Yeah, it lingered.
It lingered for way too fucking long. I know, right? But no, all jokes aside, yeah, I do have a very refreshed. I never had disrespected pepper spray, but the fresh look after like 5-6 years of not seeing it used or whatnot, I was like, especially knowing almost every single guy that got touched by that shit, mm-hmm. I know these are not fucking wimps. I know these are not crybabies. Mm-hmm. You know what I mean? I'm like, yeah, this is, I had like 8 different bottles with pepper spray, but they were all like fucking 6-7 years old.
Yeah.
So after watching Josh work, I'm like, yeah, I put it in order.
Time to reload.
Definitely time to reload. I have to find them because I should probably throw them away. Because they've been sitting in the storage somewhere in the box, and they probably, with the temperature change, I don't know. But we'll test it.
Yeah, I'll take a look at it.
Paul brought up a good point. He said that a few decades ago, I guess pepper spray became in vogue versus the CN or CS.
Yeah,
about the time when we and Paul both worked in security business.
90s,
yeah,
right. But then he said it fell totally out of favor when everybody got hot on tasers.
Yeah, well,
and so when you have law enforcement guys dictating what's trained to the civilian market, right?
It's gay and retarded.
I could see this as a cop. If I've got the option of pepper spraying Josh or tasing him, guess what? if I have to pepper spray him and then put handcuffs on him and I have to deal with that shit
It's
again,
unpleasant.
forget it. I'll just tase him.
Yeah.
And so now when I go teach my civilian class, I go, yeah,
Taser's the shit.
taser's better because you don't get it on you. But guess what? Guess what? Like, none of those ladies at class have to do. Guess what I don't have to do in the Walmart parking lot? Put handcuffs on this idiot.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's like a them problem. That's a somebody else problem.
Yeah.
Yeah, but it's much lighter load than, you know, like in what we're talking about what this Delta guy is talking about, right? It's the team mentality that not only, you know, I can do stuff and I'm going to use the sling in such a way because my slowness and my fuck ups and everything else will be covered by my teammates, right? So you give yourself a leeway to be slower and not as efficient as you could be from the assumption, total wrong assumption, that someone will cover that time for you.
Yeah.
That's fucking deadly.
Well, yeah,
That's
'cause
deadly.
if we were headed at this door right now,
Yeah.
and I'm the point man, and I'm going to go in and that way, I'd want it on my left shoulder. If I'm going to go in and button hook it, I'd probably want it on my
On the
right shoulder.
Yeah.
So now, what as
Lucky
as
you if you
I'm-
have me and Josh, because we would do the split on both sides of the door and we're covering the sectors, right?
right, but even still, as a 2-man,
Yeah.
you have to now. I'm holding you up while I swim out of that. So I either have to slow down a step, swim out of that.
So what you're saying, if this was a team exercise, if you have it slung up for the right shoulder use, you would have to wait for me maybe as a 2-man to switch to left-handed sling up arrangement. That way I can go that way, right? And then we
Right.
switch places. I become one, you go two.
Well, and you now have a
Yeah. So what I'm
yeah,
saying
that's
is,
silly.
what I'm saying is, it becomes a cluster fuck.
Or you're delaying your 2-man's ability to go off what you're doing. If I just switch shoulders, you know what I'm doing.
But ding,
If-
ding, 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 ding.
If I'm spending time to get out of the sling, I've now delayed notifying you of what I'm doing until that shoulder switch.
Yeah, but
afterwards.
the good thing is, if the bad guy decides to run out and actually become proactive with us, you have 2 friends to fucking smoke him, right?
Well, on the
Ding,
break-
ding, ding, ding. You don't have 2 friends.
Yeah.
Well, that's like, oh, that guy runs through. Like, good thing I put my safety on in the middle of this transition.
Right.
Great.
So Josh nailed it on Super Dave's viewpoint. He rewrote the manual for all Green Berets during the mid and late 90s. Guy would have been gigged hard. Let's see. It's almost like being able to transition to offhand is more important than being able to shoot offhand.
Well, one without the other doesn't matter.
Yeah.
You know, if you cannot transition but you can shoot, you're never going to shoot. If you can shoot without transition, you're not going to get there in time to shoot. So it's kind of like the chicken or the egg. You know what I mean? This is why I tell my guys in training that, you know, because words have meaning, we try to remove the lexicon of strong side, weak side, one side or the other. You should not have a weak side. It's not about strength or superiority. It's just left or right.
Yeah.
It's a geometry. It's not a fucking value. You
Yeah.
know?
And that was something I liked in Chuck Pressburg's class.
Mm-hmm.
He said your left hand should be at a minimum 90% what your single hand right hand should be.
I don't disagree. And Chuck is another Delta guy, right?
Uh-huh.
Yep.
Yep. No, yeah.
I know there's a lot of things we disagree with. It's fine. That's not what we're talking
If
about.
anything, it should be more like, you ever seen Princess Bride? The dude's fighting sword-handed, or left-handed with the sword, and then the guy that he's dueling is like, well, unfortunately for you, you know, I'm much better than you. He's like, oh, actually, I'm actually right-handed, so I'm gonna beat you now.
So Sam Russell says that he never heard about putting the safety during a reload when he was in the Marines, but then he saw Pat Mac doing it. Yeah, I've seen it before Pat Mac, Sam. I've seen it from a number of guys from the U.S. Spec Ops community for many, many years. So I don't know. I would not put all the weight and guilt on Pat Mac, but you Marines, you guys are fucking.
Just a Marine.
Yeah, that explains everything.
Not high speed enough for that stuff.
Nah, you just, yeah. We should call Phil and go like, hey, Phil, we're talking shit about you and your jarheads. Right.
And they said, look up the U.S. Marine Corps loop sling. They were still teaching how to use your sling to steady fire in 2013. Yeah,
At what distance?
Again, if they're looking intermediate to long distance, I can see it.
Sure.
I can to a certain degree understand it. If you're in some kind of seated or cross leg position as Marines teach, and you put your elbows on your knees,
I'm going to throw something crazy out there. If the sling can help you make the shot, you have time to tighten it up to that point. Yeah. You should not have to have your sling set at that tightness that you have to loosen every room you go into.
One gives you luxury of time, the other one steals all the time you have plus.
Yeah.
So use use that information wisely.
What or how is an acceptable way to stow your sling?
So, Mr. Rivera, so there's.
I wish I could take a gun out right now.
Yeah, so I was like, man, I got one right here. Like,
No. To really get it, you will have to come and see us. But I'll give you just more of a philosophical answer to that. Okay, if you have one and only one rifle, for one, you are wrong. That should not be the case. All right. I submit to you that your bedside rifle, meaning someone kicks in the door, you don't even have to have a sling on it. Grab the rifle, go to work. Right? Now, if I have another rifle that if something happens on my property and I have to go out and I'm going to load up on things and put things on because I have the time and I'm going to put my nods on and, wait, I don't have nods. Anyway, and do all that stuff, I would probably prefer to have a sling. Okay. Yeah. Why? Because sling to the rifle in that environment is what holster to the pistol is. When I don't need that rifle, I already cleared it, or I found that noise was actually, neighbor's dog came over and my dog fucked him up, and now I have to help that dog not to be eaten, or torn into pieces by my other dogs, and I have to lift him and carry him. I'll sling the rifle. I'll put it on the sling. I'll take care of that business. So. What is the purpose of your rifle? If your rifle is the long range rifle with the scope and all that stuff, being a civilian, you have to know kind of like, am I more likely to use it out of the window or from the porch of my house or whatnot? Or I'm going to be fucking super nighttime ninja and go in the woods and sit in the bush for 14 hours until that bad guy shows up again at 600 yards, right? Yeah. That will determine some things. So there is no really one singular answer. There are things, there are sling dubers, there are other things. Mm-hmm. None of them are immediate. So if you are to stow your sling, so to speak, it will take time. This is one of the reasons, like if I'm stepping out somewhere and I have time to kind of look around and all that, and I have time as I'm stepping onto that threshold, to that door or whatnot, maybe that would be the time to tighten that sling along the receiver end or the stock and have either Velcro or fucking rubber, or now there are specialty items that are being sold by companies to tighten up that sling where it doesn't dangle. So there are doodads that you can put on. They're not expensive, or you can actually improvise and jerry rig one.
Yeah.
It's not that hard.
And I wouldn't say it's the end of the world. Like I'll take a sling on some guns and set it at a length, just like he did in the video, where when it's around my neck, I can put it in this shoulder and I can put it in this shoulder, and it doesn't choke me out going either way. It's that long. Just so happens if I put my arm through it, it's pretty close to as tight as I'd want it. Pretty darn close. Like, yeah, maybe I'd be able to tighten it a little bit, 2 or 3 inches more, whatever. But it turns out to be pretty close to that length. And if you just left it dangling.
So again, Jose, your question is kind of like, it's very, very wide spectrum question. And I suspect that sometimes when people ask those questions, they put themselves in kind of like a military scenario. We're not going to be in the military scenario. You're not going to go through 16 different rooms with a known number of doors and doorknobs and all that shit. At the most, you're going to cover 3-4 doors. You know what I'm saying? So even taking that sling and wrapping 2 times around your stock and then holding it, it's fine. If you're so afraid of it dangling and being caught up on something. Modern slings, they have all kinds of shit. They have a fucking, press the button, it's off. Drop that shit. You know what I mean? Drop that shit. Again, modern life, the way it is now until the zombie apocalypse comes or just before the second coming, you know what I mean? We probably not looking at the 2-3 hour continuous engagements. I mean, it's going to be a very quick, very violence per violence happening, and it's over. Yeah. Hopefully you're still around to see what it looks like. So you don't need to have every single option to sling up, to sling off, to switch, to stow the sling and all that. You're not involved in the fucking multi-village, multi-building clearing with snatching 6 guys to take them to the fucking Guantanamo Bay, 2 guys to be beheaded, and one of them to be shown on TV. This is not the ninja shit we're doing.
I think people say it and not meaning this, but I like taking the metaphor to the extreme like I do sometimes.
Mm-hmm.
So you said, okay, well, the sling is the holster, but for the rifle. Well, for Joe homeowner, does he need a holster on his bedside gun?
Yeah.
No.
That's what I was just saying. You only put it on when you take it out of the house.
Yeah. So not even that.
Hold on. Arya sleeps in my bed. So yes, my gun on my side of the bed is in the holster.
Right.
In case she kind of reaches over or whatnot, because
right, but if you're getting up at night, you're not going to put the holster on.
It comes out of the holster.
You're taking it out of the holster.
So they'd be the same. Yes. So even if you went away from the I've got the 4+1 shotgun. Okay, I've got the AR with the magazine in it, so I've got 30 rounds at the ready. I picked that up. Guess what? If I needed to, I could I could put that in one hand, draw my pistol. Because cops used to do that all the time before they had all the weird sling dubers and stuff. But like Joe homeowner, you can hold that and do stuff with this other hand. Or like what are the odds you're going to be in a gunfight that like whatever you're doing with your hands, you couldn't set the gun down if you had to. I would prefer that if I knew I was going to have to do that, I would like to have a sling. But if I had to transition to my pistol, I could hold the shotgun or the AR in one hand. Mm-hmm. I would just take this off and do that. That's it.
And really, if you look at it, if it's a home self-defense scenario and all that, guess what? There's your table, there's your bed, there's this. You need to go, that shotgun goes on the table, pistol comes out, bam, bam, bam. Yeah. Time to switch, pistol goes down, grab the shotgun, continue fucking war.
Yeah, and people.
We're looking at too many movies.
Yeah, they aren't willing to train without the cool gear. Number one, and then people are more or less are not willing to drop their gun. If for some reason I needed to, even if I've got the shotgun with the shotgun shell holder on it, okay, well if that runs dry for some reason I don't feel confident in my port load, I could drop that. Grab the pistol, do the thing, and then come back and pick that up.
Drop a gun, Josh. I watched a live stream this week where someone said that a tactical response instructor shot somebody when they dropped a gun.
Was that the thing? I haven't watched it, but Tom Hollaby messaged me saying that. Was that Jay Gibson talking to what's
Jay's
his name?
Debate? Jay was like, no.
That was his answer?
He's like,
no.
He's like, I was there.
I was
that
there.
Didn't happen. Yeah. But then
it was his gun.
Then they just kept changing it to like, oh well, it was his gun. Oh well, you still shouldn't do that. And then, oh well, I don't believe this anyways. Like, so you went from tact response, shot somebody, to oh well, they didn't shoot somebody, but it was still this. Oh well, you shouldn't have stepped on the student's gun. Oh well, it was his gun. Oh well, I don't believe that this has any problem anyways.
Three
But it's still
320s don't
wrong.
actually have problems. I don't believe that. It's probably user error. So this guy's a real big brain.
Yeah, cool.
So all right, what else did we see that
Could
be better on
Continue
the
on,
transition?
continue on. I'm waiting.
So-
I saw quite a few things, but
So
I'm gonna wait.
Let's see here.
I like he's got the cool gloves.
Well,
Like,
that's
Oh,
going
come
back,
on. Let's not do all the ball busting.
back to the good. All
Okay,
right.
stop here.
Wait.
Freeze. When he transitions,
There.
no, all the way. Let him put the hand back on his. No. Go forward. Right there.
Back.
yeah, he doesn't have an ambidextrous safety. So what you're not seeing, like you put up. Lewis.
So he's holding that thumb along his receiver instead of wrapping it around the pistol grip
yeah.
due to having to disengage the safety, right?
Well,
Or
really,
is that just
Some of that's the way the cool guys do it.
yeah. So he could have the actual safety is on the.
It's on that side.
Oh yeah, that is the side that safety's on. But people have ambi safeties, and some cool guys run their ARs with the thumb on the same side.
all the time?
Yeah.
And why is that?
Oh, because it's something that snipers do.
Yeah, it's a trigger manipulation thing. Like,
Do you have any vodka?
This is where they go, ugh.
Fuck me running, man.
But
it was a good day up until you
The
said
sniper
that. Okay?
said on his Remington, he doesn't grab the stock on his Remington 700. He just floats the thumb on the same side.
If snipers do that, why I don't see Ben Stowing do that on a handgun?
Oh, because you can't do it on pistol, obviously. Duh.
well, here's a dude doing it on the shotgun.
Yeah, because it helps you bring it straight to the rear without imparting any kind of.
I'm gonna yank that load of buckshot like 41 inches.
Yeah.
This is about as gay as that gel that we talked about the other time.
The chalk.
Yeah. So
okay, I'm sorry. I didn't know this is a cool guy shit.
So yeah, we're not sure exactly why it's here. It's either safety or for superior accuracy.
I think it's
because I also have seen our great friend. He goes, I don't know his actual name, but he goes on Instagram and all that. Cause actual or something like that. Okay, when he's shooting on his strong side, his thumb is wrapped. Every time he transitions to the other side, his thumb is outside. So watching his transition, and I did step by step, I submit to you is a shitty skill development and a lack of competence. Why that happens? Because most people, when they do transitions, okay, so let me get a little bit fucking PhD level here, guys. All right? This is going to hurt your heads, but get some fucking aspirin. Deal with it. Listen. Everybody talks about expedience at all times, right? Now, we talked about we don't teach that because it's hard to learn, right? The two intermediate steps that people go like, okay, let's make it easier to learn and let's do that transvestite shit, the partial transition without switching hands, just switching shoulder, right? I think I demonstrated to you guys, no, it was in Pennsylvania class, how really fucked up it is, how it does not change by much your exposure, how it actually screws up your posture to be able to lean. And now when you lean, because you did not transition hands, your lean will accentuate your elbow bend and you're going to expose even more.
Yeah.
That's something that we're going to put on the video. We're going to film it. We're going to piss off a lot of people with that. We can't show it here. It's live. We can't have guns. Cool. Second intermediate step, when people do transitions on a long gun, if they're shooting from the right shoulder, they will remove fire control hand, and that will move to the forend of the rifle.
Mm-hmm.
This hand will come back to the pistol grip, to the fire control, and then it will switch the shoulders. Or he does the shoulder switch while just holding it by the forend, and then as the rifle is landing on his opposite shoulder, he establishes fire control group contact with his new shooting hand. Right? So I submit to you that this shortcut, by using your support hand movement first before fire control hand first, okay, leaves an opportunity to do half-ass job on the second hand, which is fire control hand. To me, I'm handling a firearm. What is primary? Be ready to fucking fire it.
Well, the primary is we gotta
Look
swim
cool.
through this sling
We gotta-
before we
yeah.
do anything.
No, it's a firearm.
That's a thing.
You need to be able to fire.
So
So when you have fire control,
So you don't like leave the fire control. Leave the fire control.
okay, he does it static. Now,
Swim the sling.
no, I don't like it. Lewis, why are you fucking trying to pull my TV? You're such a dick, man.
I've seen a couple of I was doing a lot of different stuff transitioning with shotguns, and then I've got one that's like the pistol grip with the stock, and then most of them are like the traditional because I'm trying to figure out the difference mechanically. But there's a thing. Some of the videos that I was watching about some of the dudes actually running these guns, none of them are doing a transition. But you're talking about being the lazy hand as the one that comes back to the fire controls, especially on like the 1301, which is like the cool ninja shotgun. They're talking about port loads and using the match saver, which is the extra shell gay stuff. You have to hit this button to send the chamber home, and then when they come back, they're doing the cool guy grip, and then they light a round off because they're just sliding into home plate, and then pow.
You know, but here's the cool thing. If I do it, so this is the rifle, right? This is my fire control hand. This is support hand, right? If I do the transition of the fire control hand first, it comes back. In order for me to support the rifle, I need to go around. I need to have that, and I cannot have cool guy thumb on this side grip. So that forces me from here to go here. And guess what? I can light off the round before that support hand even goes here. I can light off, bam, bam, as I'm regripping. So I'm even cooler.
Even cooler.
You know what else is interesting? When you do the support hand first, right? So now support hand goes there, right? You just move the support hand for your fire hand to come back, right? Cool. What if within that transition, it would have been a good idea to do a magazine change? Which hand you would be using for magazine change? Your support hand is busy now on the front. What if you have malfunction?
Yeah, you can't do anything.
Sports.
Anyway, this is overloading brains. I get it. We're gonna do an extensive video on this. This has been on my menu for about 20 fucking years of arguing with people and reading and watching the gayness and the trannies doing the tranny stuff, and it is time.
My biggest beef, like I think this dude, since he's the most one of the more recent ninjas to retire, I think it's cool that he's doing it. Like, overall,
all kudos to the guy. All kudos. Us being in the business, this is not mocking the guy. We're picking apart what he's doing. It's a critique. just as much as we're going to put out the video about the transitions or working the corners or which knee, any other videos we're going to put out, any of these more than welcome and actually would welcome their critique.
Right. But
Absolutely.
my biggest, if I had to nitpick, even if there's other people that have made similar videos where it's not quite perfect, but Ken Hackathorn's video we watched, this dude's almost 80 years old, and he takes the sling off, and he says, guess what? I might have to take the sling off, and I leave the safety off. And he still doesn't do it 100% the hand transitions, but it's like, okay, so that 80-year-old dude who was teaching special forces.
Apparently he has a functioning brain.
Well, and you know why they're not allowed to do the exchange at the fire controls, right?
Oh, because the finger is going to fall right into that and depress the trigger.
For safety.
But wait a second. They engage the safety before they do that anyways.
But for safety.
Right.
Can someone fucking out there on the internet explain this to me? How is it that we engage the safety, but we're afraid that finger will drop on the... It's on fucking safe.
But maybe we forgot to do that step.
Shut the fuck up.
Like, I don't know. We need redundant safeties. You can only transition shoulders while pointed at the clearing
Right. He
barrel.
should have put the blank firing device on.
Yeah.
And then...
I don't get it.
Пиздец, блядь.
Yeah.
That's the word of the day.
So, yeah. All right. But in some kind of way, maybe these nitpicks are like, what do the hippie chicks call it? Manifesting. Like a couple months ago, we were complaining like, hey, Delta guys, they say we're crazy for switching shoulders. And then a couple months later, we got a Delta guy switching shoulders. So who knows? Maybe we're only months away from
people using the fire control.
We're going to get like a dev group dude saying how like you take your sling off your rifle.
I will say hallelujah.
Dude, that would be awesome.
I will say hallelujah. Praise be to God in all things, man.
Since we brought it up, and then Sam brought it up back in the comments, like the dudes that were whining about Jay, and they brought him on the thing, and they're like, "Oh, it's some kind of a debate." Like, I would sooner like to talk to this dude and actually be productive. Like, hey, dude, we agree on 90% of this, but then the little things that like
make a contact.
We have questions,
right?
Make a contact.
Yeah.
Let's have. I like the dude.
How we can get
I like the dude.
Right, and he might have a genuine reason that I'm not thinking of.
I'm not saying I know everything. Far from it. He may drop something on me that I'm gonna go like, I'll be back in 2 weeks. Yeah. I'm gonna go play with this shit.
Right.
I'm not excluding the possibility. Sam, I'm gonna cut your hair next time I see you.
Yeah, it's definitely too dangerous. Yeah. Dude.
Yeah, well, you didn't turn the Glock safety on.
Sam, I need to see, we need a video of how to transition the pistol by grabbing the forend first with move your fire control hand, somehow move this one up to here to hold it, and then this one come back and grab it.
That's nothing.
Dude.
This coming week, which we will talk here shortly, I'm going to drop a whole new fucking thing on the pistol training.
Oh, yeah?
Oh, yeah.
Oh, can't wait.
I got it.
Can't wait.
Thing that you've never seen.
I got an idea.
Dude.
SHOT Show 2027. It's the transition holster. Perfectly safe. Put the gun in the holster, and then the holster turns this way.
Yes.
Perfectly safe.
And
it's like a funnel. It goes down the front of your face.
Does it have a fan to keep it cool?
It does now.
Does the fan switch from side to side when you do that?
It's just a big gulp cup goes in your pants.
Basically.
You just put it in there, spin it around, grab it back out.
Yes.
All right. I'm down.
Cool. I'm down too.
I don't hate it. Let's see. I did a video mocking Andrew about doing reloads with rifle on fire. So I did a reload on safe with the Occam. Oof.
Why, Sam? Explain yourself.
Yeah, I don't know. How did you get it reloaded? Like, because an AK, that bolt only goes so far back. You'd have to modify the safety to be able to do that. I'm sure that's actually definitely doable, right? you could cut a couple inches off that safety so you could rack it far
You
enough to
could
charge it.
you would always have to cut it all the way to the pin, all the way
Really?
to actually get a full grip on the round.
Then you got like a quarter size safety.
Then why the fuck have it at all? Jeez, you guys, fuck! I'm gonna go home and get drunk tonight.
But you could probably modify a Krebs, and this way it was still right there. You flip it down like this. Really
Did you guys like made a pact today to just drive me fucking nuts?
Yeah.
Pizdets.
Oh. It didn't work.
So you really didn't successfully mock Andrew, right? Okay, cool. Which was the point? Got it.
Yep. It's like I always keep the safety on my Glock on while I'm doing CQB.
Right.
Dude, I wonder if the people with the striker control device hold their thumb to the back of the slide the whole time.
Mm-hmm.
Dude, I forgot that thing existed. Don't bring that one up anymore.
This is becoming way too gay.
Yeah. Speaking, all right, we'll make it a little less because there was, I think, some good to see here, right?
What is it?
Is it that one or is it the other one?
I'm pretty sure it's this one.
So just to show.
No, I got it wrong.
The other one.
Pajow.
That one.
Pow.
I haven't seen that one. What is this? Or have I seen it? Let me see it again. Let me see it one more time.
They got a couple of these. This dude doing a couple of them with a shotgun.
But it looks like he is going forward first.
He's going support hand first.
Yeah.
I was trying to see the timing of the switch.
But he's not doing safety manipulations.
Who is this dude?
So the school is Windrose. I think they're in Italy.
Because if I were to look at it, what I would say is that he either trained with someone from Strategos International, because the movement and the switch the hands together with the knees, which knees goes down, it's very distinct to our small group and people that train with Ken Good and that crew. Almost nobody else is very. There's a couple guys in Europe that do this to significant degree. They fuck their back foot. I mean, there's many biomechanical things. Again, nitpicking.
Yeah.
But like overall, to me, this is significant advance. Yeah. Significant advance to what you see out there.
There's a couple of them that I was watching. Part of it was for the shotgun research, and it's a dude.
Yeah.
Doing it with a shotgun. And it's pretty
yeah. So my suspicion on this is that he didn't train like directly, obviously not with us and not with Ken Good, but someone who maybe has taken class either with us or Ken Good showed him, but didn't cover all the details. You know, and that's sometimes, and it's okay, man. You know what I mean? People will say, well, that's the fifth water from the whiskey. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
You know,
distilled
5 times, but at the same time, as far as the geometry of how the movement is going in usage of, you know, cover, the barrels, whatever, it makes sense. And timing is not perfect, biomechanics are not perfect, but again, not everyone is me.
I mean, not grossly inefficient.
No, not at all. Not at all.
So to those who say can't be done, way too hard, doesn't make any sense to do.
He makes it relatively effortless. Yeah, I don't like that he's still doing the support hand first. I don't like the back foot. I don't. Many other things. Whatever, right? Not that I don't like, but I think it could be done better. But overall, you can see that the guy is moving laterally at angles. He doesn't. He does kneeling straight from the step, so he doesn't stop and then kneel down. You know what I mean? So there's transition from horizontal displacement to vertical displacement without the pause to become, ta-da, shoot me in the face.
They did one where a dude was moving from cover to cover in like a walking lunge. Mm-hmm. That was pretty cool. But I It wasn't doing as much transition work as this, so it's not one of the ones that I
Yeah.
downloaded.
Yeah, kudos to this guy. Kudos to this guy, whoever it is, whoever he is. We could make him better, but he's an Italian. Forget about it. All right?
Yeah.
Bada bing, bada boom. He's probably gonna call Uncle Louis or something.
You can stop in Italy on the way to Latvia.
Yeah. We'll go
Right.
hang out with Zero for a bit.
I like Zero, man. I like Zero. Zero is a fun guy.
Dude, he looks like he has fun in the stuff he's doing. He's like kind of like Jerry McAlook, where like their videos or when they do something,
They passionate.
I want to see if I could do this.
Yeah.
And then, all right, one more try. Okay. Yep. I got it. Yep. Got it.
Yeah.
Sweet.
I know. I like Zero. I spoke to him more than once, and we met in person and all that. At some point, I even had plans about to bring Zero here, but I think I'm a little bit too toxic. He doesn't want to add that to his resume, which is okay. I understand, dude. You got to run business. You got to run business, I'm okay with that. But there's a lot of things I disagree with and all that. There's no denying Zero can fucking shoot. Zero can fucking shoot. He does have a movement. Again, not all of it is something that I agree with, but hey, it's good. So, I think we should address what we have coming up in fucking 5 days.
Yeah, less than a week.
Less than a week. So, what do we have coming? What we have coming is we have 4 crazy guys driving in from out of state. Let me name those guys to you, gentlemen.
Well, we did get word today Jerry is not going to be able to make it.
Oh shit.
So we're
down to
1.
I see. All right. So Jerry Nuss is out. Do you know what's you can tell me on the sidelines.
Yeah.
So Jerry Nuss is out. Nevertheless, Tim Morris is coming.
Yep.
The infamous, famous, whatever you were going to call it, Tim Morris is coming. Jay Gibson is coming.
Yep.
Calvin Lim is coming. And us 3 were already here. So there you go. Yeah, I didn't hear about Jerry, but as I said, we'll talk about it.
Yeah.
So yeah, that's going to be the thing. And although Jerry is not coming, there are between Calvin and all that, we're still going to be doing full-blown medical thing, and that's going to be Saturday night, right? Saturday night. So all of that is still in effect, and that is a 6-day class we call No Games. 2 days shotgun, 2 days rifle, 2 days pistol, with 3 separate night sessions attached to each 2-day block. Man, sounds to me like it's going to be freaking fun,
Sam says he'll be down for shotgun and medical. Hell yeah.
Very nice.
Yeah, sounds like Bart Stewart is coming for shotgun.
Oh, yeah.
So him and Tim, we're going to have to fucking gag one of them. I think Bart, because Tim has to teach, so we'll gag Bart for the time together.
I could imagine the sign language Tim would do if he, for some reason he couldn't.
Yeah, and then Frank, I don't know if you've met Frank
I haven't
Heffernan, but he's low key
certified ninja.
Yeah, but also in terms of like shit talking and side humor and stuff, like
so he's kind of like better spoken Jay. Because Jay is just
that would be
for most people. Jay is just too short. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
You have to have very high IQ to catch what Jay is actually meaning with.
Yeah.
No.
A little bit. He gives you a little bit more.
A little bit more than
Jay.
no.
Yeah, he's like somewhere between like a Jerry J and Tim.
That's fucked up. That's fucked up, man.
He's got some good ones. I think someone once asked him at an alumni weekend, like, well, like, have you ever killed someone or something? One of these questions that people ask, and Frank's immediate response was, I shook a stick at a snake once. Or they went into a sporting goods store to get gloves, and he asked the guy, where he could find gloves, and the guy asked him what he needed gloves for. He said, "For these."
So I want to address something actually, because you saw on the screen the price for 2-day session is $600. For all 6 days is $1,500. There was let's just put it, there was a contact made. Man, $1,500 is steep. Let me address that.
For
Hold on.
6 days?
Let me address. Not just 6 days. Let me address that. Let me know what is the average for 2-day high-end pistol class out there. Anywhere between $500 to $800.
Yep.
Or more.
Yes. Well, let's just keep it.
Yeah.
Let's be conservative here. Rifle, $500 to $1,000 for 2 days.
Mm-hmm.
Shotgun, somewhere there with the pistol.
Mm-hmm.
So if you're looking in, even if it's $700, let's say average for the 3 classes, it would be $2,100.
Yep.
That's without 3 night sessions.
Yeah.
So when someone says $1,500 with 6 instructors, 3 separate weapon platforms, so to speak, plus medical, plus low light, plus optics, plus the shit we're gonna do on the off hours.
Yeah.
I'm trying to be empathetic and nice, but go fuck yourself.
Yeah.
Like seriously.
But you got 6 instructors for 60 hours each. Like, we're all gonna be there. Like, that's a lot of time.
Yeah, no shit.
Over the week. So
no shit.
That's a ton of stuff. Like, so when I said, like, some or more, when I went to Thunder Ranch, it was $1,500 for a 2-day class.
I know.
Yeah.
And flying out there and a hotel and renting a car.
Take a 2-day rifle class with Haley Strategic.
Yeah. And I mean, I just gave out today the discount code for the hotel.
Uh-huh.
Basically cuts the hotel cost in half for people. You're not going to beat it, and
not to show any kind of sacrifice or whatnot, but because I'm going to be there all 6 days, right? Megan needs to work, so Nick's not going to be able to go to work on Tuesday, Wednesday to work on RJ's because he's going to have to be with Aria.
Mm-hmm.
So Nick is going to lose his salary, his income on Tuesday, Wednesday, so I can teach. And when I have people like ignorantly saying, "Dude, $1,500 for 6 days, that's a lot of money," I go like,
yeah.
Okay, my property will be used for 6 days. We're providing targets, we provided all the other shit. You know what? Seriously, dudes?
Yeah. Like the extra gas money, like shotgun class, there's 10 pieces of steel being brought from Tennessee to Texas for this. Like there's there's a lot of cost that goes into it.
We don't really have to go even into explanation.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
I understand, like,
we don't need to justify.
It is a considerable amount of money.
To have Jay, Tim, me.
No.
It's
a considerable amount of money. If it's too much for you to do, it shouldn't be a comment given about the thing. That's like saying $100,000, that's a lot for a car. Like, you shouldn't be standing in the Bugatti dealership.
Right.
Like, I agree with you. $100,000 is a lot of money. But
what kind of car are you getting?
You shouldn't be looking at
the Mercedes
a McLaren
AMG,
F1 that's a $1 million car and being like, man, and it's on sale or it's on a deal at half price, and you going, I don't know, that's a lot of money. Like, notice the fact that it's discounted about 50% of what market says it should be, and just if it's not for you or it's
fine.
Not in the cards, then
it's okay.
Fine.
It's just I responded directly to a comment because it was kind of accusatory that we overcharging, that we almost price gouging. Go fuck yourself.
Yeah, that's crazy.
Yeah,
like price gouging who?
Yeah, no, it's at least 50% discount of what it should be.
So yeah, I'm excited about the class, man. The only thing that kind of saddens me a little bit seems like it's going to be a pretty wet one,
Mm,
at least now. But it's East Texas weather.
yeah.
We may have a
So,
fucking heat stroke days. Who knows? By the time it rolls
Mhm.
around, you know. So, but we training rain or shine, no matter what. Bring change of clothes, bring whatever, or just be dirty and wet and muddy. Who cares? Uh, Saturday, Sunday pistol. Monday, Tuesday. No, Saturday, Sunday shotgun. Saturday night medical. Right.
Yep.
Then Monday, Tuesday is pistol or rifle.
Pistol.
Yep.
Pistol.
Got it right up here. Yep.
Monday, Tuesday pistol. And then Monday night pistol optics and low light training block. And then Wednesday, Thursday is rifle. And then Wednesday night low light live fire training block.
Dude.
So you're looking probably at 6 days of about 8 hours each, right?
At least, yeah.
Yeah.
With the
And then
nights.
no,
Or
and
that's-
then additional 3 night sessions of probably minimum 2.5 to 3 hours, if not 4 hours.
Yeah.
So 6 times 8, that's 48 hours, right?
Mm-hmm.
48 plus
Another
plus
12,
probably close
60.
to 12. Yeah,
60 hours.
close to 60 hours of training. Plus on the sidelines.
And then for 6 dudes at 60 hours, it's 360 hours of work put in. That's a lot of fucking.
Well, I can also tell you.
time.
They can also tell you that how many years of experience and knowledge together
Yeah.
Yeah.
it is. But I guess that's not the metric we want to look at.
Right. Yeah, go buy another fucking rifle that you can't hit shit with.
I don't know. I'm excited, man, because it's been a long time since I've seen, this group together. I'm definitely looking forward to see the dynamics again because it's never been boring with any of those dudes together on the range.
Yeah, we're gonna have to let Tim.
Not just boring from the standpoint of entertainment and fun and and shit that we talk and nonstop ball busting, but the energy of exchange and actually going like someone goes like interject something. And by the way, guys, right? And then it's like on cue, the main instructor can pick on it, and you know what I mean. You never know what's going to develop because dudes have shit ton of experience. And again, I'm going to repeat myself from last time we talked about it. What is unique within this group of what's going to be happening? Every single dude is a good student,
Mm-hmm.
and they teach with fucking passion. With passion. It's not just money. It's not just business. None of the dudes, actually, now that I think about it, none of the dudes will be teaching make more money from selling gear than they.
No, definitely not.
So you're not going to have a single gear salesman teaching you downrange.
The dudes teaching this class give away more money in gear to students who need something than they make in selling any kind of gear.
Yeah. So if you don't have any kind of life-changing reason not to be here and you're not here, you are wrong. We still have spots.
Yeah, and for some reason, if the 1,500 is too expensive,
sign up for 2 days, 4 days.
That's why it's broken down. If you just want to come for the pistol stuff,
or the rifle stuff,
stuff, or just the shotgun stuff, I had it in the description when we uploaded it. I've got a couple extra shotguns. We've got extra rifles, extra pistols.
Yep.
Saves you having to bring one on a flight. Saves you having to drive it across, Chicago or whatever bullshit places that you probably should actually have this stuff. Whatever.
Yeah. I'm excited for the flashlight block.
Yeah.
The Monday night. I think that as $100 class is ridiculous because that's not something you're gonna get anywhere.
Yeah.
Anything like it. And again, the scheduling of something like this, it's
It was magic.
tough.
It was magic that it happened.
It's tough.
It was like a grace that's been thrown out
And then
down at us, to be able to schedule and actually get people to be able to commit to the same time frames. So that's pretty cool.
Jose.
Yeah, that's what Jaeger used to say. Tim's got 120 years of experience.
Yeah, he was. Tim was there at the original trench gun.
Yeah, he was airborne when they were making the parachutes out of canvas.
So basically, he's as old as Keith Richards, right?
Yeah. Yep.
So he was basically holding the bottle for Jesus Christ, right?
Yeah.
Okay, got it. Understood.
He was telling,
"Hey Tim, show him how you did tourniquets in the Civil War."
He was telling John Browning, like, "Hey, you should make this one semi-automatic."
Please remember send address of the range to the students on email list. Okay, yep. And I went and got a pin. That's what I was doing today, just dropping a pin there on my map, so I can get one over to Don Rocco.
I'll send you the list of all the emails and phone numbers and everything. And I actually had Nick go to the range today with a weed whacker, so cleaned it up a little bit. We're going to be burning some because we have a lot of wood still. So we're burning some wood and stuff like that. But
providing all 5 senses, right? So, like you're learning the lessons from the book is like,
right.
You don't have fresh baked cookies, but you're going to have wood smoke in the air.
Yeah, fresh Texas mesquite.
That's right, baby. I did learn from that book. We're still gonna fucking shoot that fucking book. But you'll see.
Well, do it with Tim with the hostage shot.
Yeah,
right. With the shotgun.
Like
bird shot.
Sonny, help! The book's gonna get me. I'm gonna start baking cookies. No.
I know we sound a little cryptic, but once you see it, you'll understand, and we'll make sure to provide explanation and context to that video.
Yeah, and Jay's got another fun video he wants to get done while we're all together on the range.
Oh, I have ideas too.
He wants to make sure everyone knows the safety rules.
Yes,
because some people are don't go to vetted instructors.
No, so I mean, I'm picturing all of us instructors to put more gravitas to our statement how important the safety is, sitting on those wooden things between the targets while live fire goes on and explaining to them the safety.
Yeah,
at the same time.
I like it.
I think
that'd be awesome.
Yeah, I think we should fucking do it.
Awesome.
Yeah, because I'm tired of people on the internet not wearing iPro. Telling me how to be safe.
I know. I know. So should I put Air Pros on this time? This one time?
No, Clint Smith doesn't wear Air Pro. You're good.
Me and Clint Smith on the same page on something?
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
Fuck! Dude. I feel vindicated. You know what I'm saying?
Well, that dude's also like 40% titanium, too. Yeah. So he probably doesn't have eardrums.
There's a strong point there.
Yeah.
Dragon's breath, yes.
Yeah, I did just get a new loadout of 410 Dragon's Breath because they had it up the block. And I figured I was all out. So
410, Tim, Dragon Breath.
With the judge.
With the judge.
Well, I was actually...
With someone downrange.
I was thinking...
Winning formula.
I was thinking if you showed up to shotgun class with the judge, because Tim
it's a shotgun.
He gives me a lot of shit about the judge. It's the worst gun ever. Yeah. But then in a podcast, Super Dave was like, "Oh yeah, judge is a good gun. I carry it sometimes. It's a good snake gun." And like James has one, and I could give you the one I have because Tim can't tell you it's a piece of shit.
Yeah,
you know what I mean? Like Tim,
get the fuck out of here.
You think I can't fight with this?
Try me. Yes. It's happening. Anyway, I do suspect that for weeks to come after that class, there's going to be some fucking videos that will lit some shit on fire.
Yeah.
Whew. It's a wonderful, wonderful feeling. Yeah. Yeah, for the 50th time, we will address the same thing. When you guys gonna doing it next? Never.
Yeah, this is lightning.
When is it gonna be closer to Nashville? This is close enough. This is 10-hour drive from Nashville. Never.
We'll take a.
Ask Neil deGrasse Tyson when the next Big Bang is.
Yeah. That question should be asked at that valley in California where they make the Bang Bang movies. You know what I'm saying? They're probably filming one tonight. The Big Bang.
Yeah. I mean, I know the way Tim typically does the shotgun hostage target. I think we have something at the range right now that might make that even
Doable.
cooler.
Even cooler, yeah.
Even cooler.
The thing?
Yeah.
The thing, yeah. As I said, guys, if you're not here, you are more wrong than cum on the mustache. I mean, really. More wrong than the mustache, not the cum. Decipher that one.
Said, hey, nothing gay about getting your dick sucked.
All right, baby. Humming them.
All right.
Do we have any other good questions or anything else out there?
That was it, Don Rocco.
No haters showed up, nothing?
No haters.
Shit.
Oh, man.
That's boring. We're just not exciting enough, I suppose.
All right. Well, there will be no live stream next week.
No.
Because
for sure not.
We'll be doing the things, teaching the things, learning the things, and enjoying the things.
Yeah.
And
I'm not sure on Monday. Well, we probably will do it Monday after, unless.
No, Monday we have.
He said Monday after.
Monday after the class.
After no games.
I don't think we can. I think Monday night is the optics and
Monday after the class. Not Monday.
The next week.
The following week. Yes.
I'm gonna look at my calendar because I know that I'm leaving to Florida for my older daughter graduation, but I'm not sure which day I'm leaving. So, but we'll look it up.
Yeah.
So it might be a little bit of a break, but we'll keep you informed. We'll let you know. Anything else, fellas?
That's all I've got.
Josh, say something.
Something.